Cool. Recording started. So, yeah, I hope everyone aware about a bit of context of IOS Labs so far. Have you gone through the group description or the last meeting recording if you haven't attended? Okay, I hope so. Is anyone who have no context? So please, after this meeting, you can go through it. But let me just quickly brief. In last meeting, we have discussed what is our project, how what is like IOS Lab also, what is how we can like help each other, and how we can crack our interviews, how we can build something amazing, and how like your open source and your LinkedIn genuinely helps you to get a decent product based companies call. Right. So I hope everyone align with this. And so today we are going to take actually discussion on this, which kind of patterns we need to use, which testing framework, and should we go with core data or Swift data and all these stuff. So let's start with quickly with architecture pattern, and I want you guys to participate and wants to add your points. So Shobit, if you want to go first, you can. For what do you think, like which would be the best for this project? Like even though we are going to take it as an experiment and for learning purpose, multiple architecture patterns, but yeah, one is the major one. So which like, should be the major architecture pattern in the entire app? What do you think?
So right now I'm open for everyone. Like I we can start with, I think, let's say first module with MVVM, for example. The
Mhm.
reason is why I choose MVVM is because, you know, standard, it globally, widely used. It's
Yep.
very common. And
Yep.
if, we start with this, so more people can relate, their code base and everything with MVVM. And then we, gradually, once we, let's say, login flow, for example, we start with MVVM, let's say, and
Mhm.
then we gradually, again brainstorm and identify the complexity. And based on complexity, let's say we find out, let's say, we need, let's say, implement deep links. Let's say we need something which require very frequently screen change and screen management. Then we think about, Viper, or even,
Good.
MVVM with coordinator. So I
Mhm.
think this approach, works well according to me. And I want to ask, everyone as well, because it's a open platform, so
Yeah.
we can. That's my point.
Thanks, Shobha. So this making sense actually, but yeah, I will come to that. I have few more points on this, but let's go with other people first. So yeah, thanks, Shobha. Anyone else wants to add on this? What's like, your opinion? Will be good for smooth onboarding. Yes, absolutely, Aman. Yeah. So we feel actually MVVM is most comfortable and most widely used. So yeah, we can start with MVVM and eventually we can explore like MVVM. Like eventually we can explore TCA, Viper, and other stuff like so and clean. So right. Anyone else? Any other different opinion on this, or any other approach, or something you want to add on this? Anyone? No one. Cool. Cool. So what I was thinking, like, yeah, we can start with MVVM. That is yeah, good point. Key, it's easy for everyone to start with it, and even it is like practice in SwiftUI also in MVVM because we most of the audience are like comfortable with MVVM, but in a UI kit thing, but not with the SwiftUI. So that was also the practice for them, like MVVM and SwiftUI. Then later on, we will go with like Viper and TCA and also like these kind of clean architecture. And then we can see which is the best one in which scenario. And we should have like proper points. So from my R&D, I found out like in some scenarios and some complexities, people are recommending TCA for a good, clean and like long-lasting code kind of thing. So I'm still like still looking into this key really TCA like worth it. So eventually we can go to TCA if it's really worth it. And even MVVM with some like mixture of dependency injection and then uh you have a
Coordinator.
separate there, yeah, coordinator, like all these things, yeah. So that again depends on how kind of MVVM you are implementing or we are implementing, right? So that actually matters a lot. So it's not like a pure simple plain MVVM, but it's with some complexity, with some layers, with some some extra components we will have. So yeah, so eventually, obviously, we'll add these kind of layer, add these kind of components in our MVVM also, and we'll also compare with the TCA and with the Viper and other stuff. So eventually, we realize okay, which is like working best for us, and in the long term also, it is the best. Like so, yeah. So I think everyone is aligned on this. If you have, yeah, Ankit, we are going to use combine here because the complete project is like in SwiftUI. So SwiftUI plus combine kind of. Yeah. And also sort of concurrency and all that stuff we are going to use. Cool. Any other opinion, any other thoughts, anything you want to add, please add. Otherwise, we will move to the next part, next question. So
Yes, yes. One of my suggestion also, like let's say we are divided into let's say two team, for example, and let's say
Mhm.
one team, start, one module with MVVM, and let's
Yeah,
say we just for searching for research purpose, we ask some
Mhm.
team member, they can start on let's say TCS, for example, TCA,
TCA.
sorry, TCA.
No,
So
yeah,
if they both if we come up with both PRs, let's say they start with their own branches, and
I'm
then we
getting. You
come
make simply the code kind of.
yes, yes, and
Yeah.
we can compare, and we can also
Mm.
discuss like why
That also the
TCS
working.
work here.
I feel yeah, so sure. That also we can do. And I feel like so far people are showing interest. So suppose if we really have a good amount of active contributors, so we can make a two team. One is like working on MVVM, one is using TCA, and maybe one more like that we can do. So
Correct,
cool.
correct.
That's a good point. Yeah, we'll work on this part. Let's first finalize how much people are really serious and they are ready to contribute. Based on that, we can separate out the teams and we can then assign the architecture and the feature, and then we can start. Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. So having leaders in every team is also yeah, yeah, yeah. Ankit, there are going to be like reviewers. There are going to be a leader kind of tech lead or team lead kind of. So yeah. So for that also, I'm going to raise a pool and we'll have a discussion on that. But first, we are just basically getting comfortable with each other, vibes of the community, and with this project. So far, obviously, we don't know each other very well. So obviously, how on which basis we should assign the people, right? So at least we are pretty much worried about the through work, through some discussions, through some thought process, so that we come to a conclusion. Ki, okay, you can be a as a leader, someone is interested, so we can give it the chance to them. So something like that, right? So I think that making sense. Yeah. So yeah, someone raising hand, you can unmute. Sahil.
Yeah, hi, Kaushal. I'm Sandeep from
Yeah. Hi.
Senior iOS Developer. Actually, I joined little bit late. I think after 10 to 15. Actually, I don't understand what's going on. I missed the earlier part.
It's just like we are discussing which architecture pattern we should go for. So we concluding in this like we can start with MVVM and eventually we can explore other patterns. Also, one more suggestion we got we have a enough good number of contributors, so we can separate out two to three teams. So one working on MVVM, one is using TCA, and one is using Viper, something like that. So
Why
that
Viper? Why Viper? Why not clean architecture VIP?
it's for learning purpose, bro. So basically, this whole project and community is for you preparing for your interviews. So you should have comfort with MVVM. So you already have a like everyone kind of. So we should be break our comfort zone with other patterns also, like TCA, like Viper, like Clean, all three, like or
Okay,
all four.
got it.
Just
I
do that.
understood
Yeah,
now. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. Thanks. But eventually, the point is key. Even though suppose we have a 10 module or 10 features, so one would be the major architecture pattern which we can use in 7 out of 10 features. Like I'm just giving a random roughly number. So like 70% of 7 features are in that pattern. So take an example like TCA or maybe MVVM with some extra layer and components. And 3 module are like in different patterns or architecture. So for learning purpose basically. So it's like that basically. Okay, so at least you also have comfortable with that, and you can add on your resume, and even you can showcase on your GitHub repo, right? And on LinkedIn also, like that. So it eventually helps everyone to showcase and to get comfortable with the pattern, and you thorough or deep understanding of why these kind of pattern is really useful, what are the cons and pros of this, and why these are really kind of recommended in which particular context. So we should have like these kind of understanding. So yeah, hope this making sense. Yeah, you can thumbs up once, then we can move ahead to the next one. Thumbs up once. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, even though I like Coca-Cola, but right now I'm asking for thumbs up. So okay, yeah, cool. So thank you. So next big question is core data versus Swift data. Eventually, we are going to use here again for the practice purpose. Also, we need to have some feature which is kind of required local like data, take offline data processing and all that. So, what your thoughts on core data versus Swift data? Swift data, yeah. I want your answer. Like you have some point on this. Ki why Swift data and why not core data? Vishal, you want to answer this thing?
Yeah, sure. Like obviously, Swift data want I want to explore that, and obviously core data I already had an hands-on. So
Getting your point.
this is the
Yes,
point.
for sure. See, so for explore purpose, Swift data so is definitely will be there. But the major question is ki as a whole project or as a okay, let me tell you the context. We are actually building a real-time production app. Okay, it's not a dummy project. First thing. So now the major challenge which I found in my R&D is Swift data is supporting I think iOS 17 plus, right? If I'm not wrong. So what about before iOS 17? What about that? Like because obviously there are major audience which are not in like iOS 17 or iOS 17 plus. So there is a problem, and also I found that there are some limitation while writing queries. Like there's not that customized available in Swift data. There are some limitations also like technically, which is like core data is very mature and you can do anything in core data. But somehow like in Swift data there are some limitations. So on that part, like I was thinking ki kind of in the whole project core data should be there, but for practice purpose you can use Swift data for a limited set of number of features. But eventually core data should be the base, like matlab, as the entire database kind of thing. So uh, so yeah, if I'm making sense or you want to add on this thing, like so Shobit or anyone, yeah, there are challenges between like so Swift data is still not that mature or not that reliable, like so it's just newly introduced. So that's the concern.
Yes, yes, I'm agree with you. And we should start with core data now. And
Mhm.
what we can do is we can write code for Swift data as well, as a you can say with micros like we have right now, right?
Yeah. With
So
my like optional key if OS version this
yeah,
is available.
yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah.
So this
Yes,
allow us to migrate, let's say after 1 year or 2 year. Let's say we are when the minimum version was 17, then we have options to completely migrate to Swift data in
yep.
future.
Making sense. Yeah. So true. Good
Something
point.
like that we can start.
Absolutely. Yeah. That we can do. So with macros and with this like optional thing. So yeah, in that way, so it maybe like include our work. But yeah, it maybe like increase our work, but that is fine because obviously we are going for doing this thing for learning purpose. So that makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
I
I
want
think
to add. I want to add
yes.
something else.
Yeah.
So I seen two projects we are using code data. So whatever you
Mhm.
said is right. For code data, we have more control over data. Writing more predicates and
Yeah.
handling background mocks and everything. And
Mhm.
what we need to be careful is with the crashes.
Yeah.
So when user locks his phone, or there is no enough data, there will be crashes while using core data. We need to handle that accordingly from app delegate methods. While going background, we need to handle, and coming back to foreground, we need to handle that. So besides that, I think core data will be the best choice for handling complex data. and writing good predicates. SwiftData is straightforward. If you want to write less code,
Yep. That's true. Yeah. So your point is, yeah, obviously we should go for core data, right? Because those scenarios we can't handle in Swift data, which you're talking about, right? Cool. So yes, Sandeep.
So again, have some point about the Swift data and like Swift testing. Just introducing IS 17 plus.
But
Uh,
yeah,
no, yeah.
yeah, but
But
yeah,
as a if we here as a interview preparation, so then we will go with the IS 17 plus. So we can learn the Swift data as well. So point of
yeah,
interview
we'll learn.
preparation.
See, Sandeep, we that is for sure. We are going to use Swift data as well, even though maybe for less number of feature or for only experimenting purpose. But we are going to use Swift data. But our again concern is we are building a production ready app. And if it
Mm,
is really production ready happening in future, suppose after 6 months, you have
mm,
ready MVP, right? And then if you add on your resume and GitHub profile, it's a ready live app, and even interviews can see this app and install and have fun on this. So this really makes a big impact. See, because you haven't worked on a dummy project, you made something really great product
mm.
using your open source and your contribution. So that is also the concern. So core data obviously again is more reliable and more good option here, right? As
Yeah,
compared
I
to
know.
Swift, you're going for a production app. So that is also the concern too.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, cool.
And
So,
I would
Kushal,
add one more thing. Like, okay, yeah, you can continue. After that, I will ask. Yeah, Narendra.
sorry, but okay. Yeah. Kushal, what's the purpose of the database here? You're planning to use some offline related data?
Yes, there are some features of right now. I'm not going to in detail part of this right now, but you can assume right now, okay, so some data we are going to save like offline and we are going to use frequently, kind of stuff. So yeah, so basically even though okay, one more point I have, even though suppose in some features if we don't require core data, but we are planning or we are actually working on some again PRD is a very initial doc, so we are going to include this kind of features even in future which actually require this database part. So definitely, so we need to take a call on this. Okay, are we going with core data or sub data or both or one, like that? So okay, cool.
one more point I want to add: if we are using core data, we need to find what are the properties which are we need to encrypt. So we should use NS value transformers. Otherwise, anybody can read the data which we store into our sandbox. I mean,
Yep. So that
so
will we will take care of it. Obviously, bro. Yeah. That we will take care of
I
it.
think someone suggested that we should use dependency in version so that by the time in future we would be able to change it easily. Means,
In future,
yeah,
yes, in
so
future we can
that would
completely.
be much better.
Yes, bro. Yes. So in future, like maybe like after 1 or 2 year, there could be a case like Apple makes it that more stable sub data. So then we can rely on sub data and we can eventually discard the core data part or deprecate it. But yeah, for now, if you consider currently in this August 2025, we can't rely on sub data as much, or the version dependency issues also there, and also in some scenarios, sub data is not that reliable. So yeah, in future, so we can go with macro part, so Shobit, which suggested, and also uh, maybe there could be a scenario where like you can write a code, but maybe it's not working properly, something like that. But we'll see. But yeah, for now, we can say like core data, we can go with it, and for again for your practice and experimenting purpose, we can using subdata as well. So 6.2, Sai, that is not yet decided. We will come to this point for Swift 6.2. Yeah, so Shobit, you're saying something, right?
Yes. I was mentioning like even though we can also try it out Relim versus core data also, or
Mhm.
versus Swift data. But the point is, the more if someone, let's say one of them experiment and find out the performance
Yep.
wise which is better and why is it is better. So if someone do that, and take kind of create a session on it, then
Uh,
this thing will work better in future for like, so we can also explain why we go with Swift data because it's fast, or uh,
mhm,
apart from easy to implement.
mhm,
But the generally we are more concerning which which data framework is more reliable, fast, or provide something that is
mhm.
other not. So based on that, pros and cons and everything, if we can come up with some research before
Can
that.
do something on this. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I have
I
one
s-
more point I actually forgot to add on this. Let me tell you one thing, which what I'm planning here. So I'm coming to the next question, kind of like URL session versus Alamofire. But before that, also in this context, core data versus sub data, we are going to have a wrapper. We are going to write a wrapper. So we are not going to use directly core data. We'll create our own wrapper out like on this core data part so that it's easier and cleaner, more cleaner code for everyone. So I hope you're relating this. So mostly in the product companies, we have wrapper on URL session, we have wrappers on core data and all those stuff like. So that also we are going to do here. So so eventually once the wrapper is like you're ready, so now then everyone is going to implement, they will write a less number of code and it would be more cleaner code, right? So that is the point. And again, for same for your URL session again, same thing. Yes, kind
Okay.
of. Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, I.
So I spoke to one of my senior devs. So I mean, they in their company they have converted CoreData to SwiftData. So
Mhm.
the strategy which they went with is each table they went suppose they have 3 4 tables in the CoreData. So they removed
Mhm.
each table one at a time and then
Okay.
converting that entity to Swift data by using clean architecture, writing use cases that
Okay.
way. So they wrote
Mhm.
use case and then handlers. So the handler which takes care of one table instead of saving into code data and fetching from code data, they wrote observable pattern something and they made it to Swift data slowly. So that way, like you said, if we write wrappers, they have written use cases simply for UI. They have written some
Mhm.
use cases, so much did not change to them.
Okay. Okay. Still not get the whole point actually. Matlab, maybe I'm not able to understand this. What you're trying to say here? What's
I
your
don't
point?
know. I'm again, supporting you. Like, if you write use cases, suppose
Yeah.
a fetch profile or a save profile or something of use cases as use case wrapper, and then it calls a particular handler. So currently, if it calls code data, then we can
Mm.
remove that part of the code and we can call it to Swift data.
Yes, 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 yes. Cool, cool. Yeah, that basically we're going to do. Yes, yes, yes. So what I mean by wrapper is like, yeah, so wrapper would be there, and then you are saying basically kind of an injection wala part. So right now you're plugging like core data, but later on you can plug two sub data in the same wrapper, right? Kind of.
Yes.
Cool, cool. Yes, makes sense. Yep, thank you. So, yep, anyone else on this, or we can move to the next question. So we are okay with like this discussion, and yeah, so Shobit, we can have one PRD, sorry, one POC on this. So you can take one, or we can have one problem statement you can build and which you can try, and then you able to maybe find out some insights and finding key, okay, how sub data is working and how core data is working and what are the major differences. So like that also. But yeah, so
Yes.
far the thing is again the app dependency, and there are some complex scenarios in which like core data is required, and there I think sub data is not that much mature so far, or not yet. So yeah, that is the main concern. Cool. Yeah. So thank you. So the next is like your URL session versus Alamofire, and again, which I already mentioned the wrapper part. So I feel we can go with purely URLSession, no need of Alamofire as such. But still, I want to your opinion. Like, what do you think? Like, we should still there is a requirement of Alamofire because now our URLSession is so much mature enough. So most of the companies are working in URLSession right now, but still, so many companies are still working in Alamofire. So yeah, any thoughts, any point on this? Anyone? Yeah.
Like I start with this. So first of all,
Mhm.
I would also agree with your point. Now URL session is mature enough to handle any kind of calling with connect with REST APIs. So I would highly recommend, yeah, we should use URL session because it allow us to more flexibility. We don't need to depend on any third party SDK and anything, and
Mhm.
it's quickly implementable. And even it allow us to, you can say, crack the interviews as well, because most of the companies are more you know
Mhm.
like want to someone who have experience in URL session, not Alamofire.
Exactly, yeah, kind of. And the by default expectation, which we all know, ki we should not use third-party libraries until unless it is really very required, kind of. Right. So from that context, also, it's not recommended to use third-party library like Alamofire. So if Apple already given this URL session and it is pretty mature now, there's like not 2015, 16. Now it's like it's still like now URL session is ready like for a production. So yeah, we can go with URL session. We can have our own wrappers on that. So it again more cleaner code for everyone to implement the APIs in the project. Yeah, makes sense. Yes, Concoro, absolutely. It's handy, more native interoperability with SwiftUI combines F6. No need to make wrapper. We don't. That we will see. Matlab, Concoro, if it is required, we'll have a wrappers, our own wrappers. Otherwise, we don't like it depends. So I will come to that part. Like right now, it's not the right time to discuss the like how our wrapper would be. But yeah, like it makes more sense if I do right directly jump into the code and then we'll discuss these things. But right now we are just discussing these things conceptually. So yeah, cool. Okay, so anyone else on this URL session versus Alamofire? All are okay with I think with URL session, right? You can thumbs up once.
I I just have one point, Kushal.
Yes, sir.
Since the app has the chat feature, probably
Yeah.
I'm not sure how does the sockets behave with URL session. It
Okay.
was added recently. Not sure how does the socketing behave with URL sessions.
So anyone any experience with socket with URL session? Want to add something on this? Anyone? No one? Okay, Narendra, let's make this question open for
I
now.
actually used MQTT sockets in our application, and that I kept it as separate layer. I not you see I installed it as a pod, and I used it MQTT, but I did not use it with URL session.
Okay. So yeah. So what we can do, I'm also not that much sure right now on this part. So let me look into this, and you guys also you can check this thing. Key how much like socket how socket behaves with URL session, right? So yeah, we can have again some POC on this and some R&D on this, and then we can conclude this part. Right. So for now, this would be an open question. We'll see on this. We'll work on this part. So thanks, Narinder, for raising this point. I want someone can write this question. It is important, and later on we can share on the group. So cool. Yeah. So the next question is your testing framework. So we have multiple options like Quick and Nimble or Exit Test or right now new the Swift Test kind of thing. So what do you think? Which would be the best one for our unit testing? And even also we want to write UI test cases. So in context of TDD or BDD, both I'm asking. So what do you think? Like, yeah. Anyone wants to add on this?
Yes.
Go. You
So
can. Yes. Yeah. So Shobit.
like I would recommend again here is we should start with XC test case first. Maybe the reason is again the same, like more people are, I think more people are comfortable with XC test case more, and it's allow us to easy onboarding, because it is straightforward.
Yeah. So Shobit. Yeah.
Hmm? Sorry.
Here, I have a different opinion on this.
Okay, okay,
But
okay. Yeah, no worry. But like I generally see like people are using Quick Nimble or XC framework a lot,
Mhm.
and that's why I came up like XC test framework not need any external library implementation, and that's why I asked to start with it.
New Swift test.
And no, I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, so I'm not have any good understanding about it.
Cool, cool. Okay. Anyone else here? Any points on this? Swift testing versus XC test or quick nimble? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, as you can see on the chat, I suggest to use the quick nimble, right? I suggest it because it's more
Mm-hmm.
related and also more relevant with the user journey. So it looks like uh, when we do our test, like
Mm-hmm.
it gives the feel more like uh, we test it based on the user journey, and also the onboarding process to use quick nimble. It's not hard actually.
Yeah.
Since actually it makes the unit
Yeah.
testing
Yes.
much simpler. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm not strict with that. If other developers are more comfortable with exit test, yeah, we can still go on that.
Cool, cool, cool. Yep. Thanks, bro. So, yeah, I have one point on this. Like, I've so far in my thing last recent 3 to 4 companies they are using quick nimble. Right now, I'm also working in quick nimble. I found and I used in first time in dealer socket in 2020. Yeah. So that's the first time which I like come to know about this. There is some framework called Quick and Nimble for writing test cases. So I found it's really, even though today also the code is somewhat similar, only not that much as such updates. But yeah, the thing is key, it is really very easy and more cleaner code in Quick Nimble. So we can go with Quick and Nimble. If even people not comfortable, they can learn it quickly and they can start with it and they can add these skills in your resume also, because most of the companies are using Quick and Nimble. So that also the one thing you can explore with it. So yeah, that I have opinion on this. But yeah, if you really want with Exceeders or Swift test, we can try again for experiment purpose for Swift testing. Swift testing I also haven't tried, so I can't have comment on this part. But let me do some R&D or POC on this. You guys can also some do some POC on this part, like compare Quick Nimble with Swift test and Exceeders. Then we can conclude on this part, right? So yeah, makes sense. So
Yes,
and
yes.
but
One more point, like you
yes.
have, do you also plan to use TDD approach? Like you are also mentioning that part.
Yeah,
So
actually, that I'm not yet finalized. I'm thinking TDD and BDD kind of thing. So, uh, not yet finalized this thing. But what you have any thoughts on this? You can add on this part. Like, what do you think? Which approach we should go for?
I think like TDD is initially it's complicated to start, but
Mm,
it allow us to make, if we are able to implement TDD approach, then
mm,
it's allowed us to you know from starting its code coverage is very high in TDD approach.
yep.
So yeah, I'm also bit find it challenging every time think in a way of TDD approach.
Okay. Okay. Cool. We'll see this thing. So for now, it should be an open thing. We'll see this thing. Keep what we should go for. TDD, BDD, like these things. But so far, I think we if we are going with Quick and Nimble, yeah, it's good for BDD. And it's like if someone see the code you can relate to it. It's like you're writing an English test case and you're giving a context case user doing this thing, then this should be happen, and if it doing this, then this should be happen like this. So it's pretty much more cleaner, more straightforward thing, and it's very fast and easy to write also. To all the behavioral scenarios, to all like use cases, you can cover basically in Quick and Nimble. But yeah, maybe there are some limitations that I'm not aware right now, so I need to look into that part. So yeah, so you guys also do some R&D on this, and we'll come up with some points in our next session, so we can discuss on this part. Cool. So yeah, thank you. So next question is, I think we covered Quick Nimble testing CoreData. Anything else which we want to discuss today? Let me check. So Shobit, anything else which I mentioned in last session and we are right now I'm not able to collecting this? Or anyone else?
I
Anything
have a
else to this?
question.
Yeah. Yes, this.
So I was just saying, suppose I have only experience in MVVM, okay, and I also want to explore a clean architecture and Viper, okay. So I just want to work on two different architectures, but the teams are different.
Your
So
voice is
how
breaking.
will we?
Okay, Dilshad, your voice is breaking, but so far I understand you're saying ki you're already comfortable with MVVM and you want to work only on clean and Viper, suppose. So, so how you will like learn and contribute? So basically, again,
Because the teams are different.
yeah.
Uh,
So again, like I given you example, a roughly example right now. If suppose 10 feature, 10 modules are there in the app. So one major architecture maybe not, which is not yet finalized. So maybe it would be MVVM with some extra components, or it could be like TCA or Viper. So that one architecture is like the major architecture code is there in that particular thing. So 60 to 70% features, and then somewhat 10-20% code in like in MVVM or other patterns, and again in clean and again in this TCA, something like that. So yeah. So for that purpose, you can learn, and even at least one model you will get a feel of it. And apart from that, if you really want to more explore on that part, you can on your own also you can explore. But yeah, in as far as the project is concerned, we are planning like 60-70% code base in the one architecture, because it's then easy or it's hard to manage like if we really go with every model in other architecture patterns. So yeah, that is the case. Makes sense. Yeah. Ankit, yeah, we are going to make reusable component. That is normally we do in our companies also in production. So we are going to have reusable components for UI purpose also, and for other stuff also, like functionality wise, logic wise, or so many like, or even in wrappers we'll have some again reusable stuff. So okay. So Nikunj is asking, have you experience with clean architecture? Anyone experience with clean architecture? But yeah, we'll exploring this part as well in the project. So yeah. So I think so far these kind of questions, I think these are the major part we already discussed on it. Now another thing is the backend thing. So we are still like looking into this key, which tech stack we should go for. Even though people are voting in the group for Swift as a backend, but I don't feel ki we should go for Swift as a backend. So if you really want to explore the backend part, so I think we should go with which is really more, more used and more reliable as a backend technology. So which are like options we have, kind of Node.js or Fast API or even Go. Like so. So anyone else, any thoughts on this? Like Node.js versus Python versus Go. Anyone? Yes, Uzair. Aman. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Kushal.
Yeah.
Actually, I went through your the document which you shared on the group,
Yep.
right? So the first priority is to go with Python. Is it? Is it so? Just
No,
just
like just a basic draft I created using some AI and some Google stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's still open discussion. It's not like first priority. So
Yeah,
I'm still thinking which would be the best one. So yeah.
even I think of like we can either go with Node.js, Go, or Python to
Yep.
learning as again we all are here to purpose of learning.
Yep.
So for learning purpose, similarly how we are doing for front end, we can have in backend that we can just have some modules which are
No, no, that we can do.
extra.
I was also
Yeah.
thinking some model we can do in maybe Python fast API, some in maybe Node.js, and some maybe in Go or even in Swift web paper. So
Vapor,
that
yeah.
that we can do. But again, one would be the major. So
Yes,
that
yes,
major
correct.
part I'm finalizing. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
See,
will include backend engineers as well. Today there is no backend engineer in this meeting, but soon in the next coming meeting, which is specific to backend development, they would be there. So they will share their insight and experiences and opinion on that part. But I feel like I worked in Python Fast API in 2020 and 21. So I feel it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and even people recommend that as well. It is more, more cleaner, more fast development you can do. So, yeah, which I feel so that's a somewhat biased. We can say like more inclined to fast API. But again, I very heard about good reviews of Go. Also goes very fast. But again, I
yes.
could Go, so I can't comment on this part. And same for Node.js. Like I just had an experience with fast API Python, but other tech stack I don't have any experience as such. So yeah.
So in the current
राज अक्सर रोटी लेता है
in the current organization, we are using Go, whereas in the previous organization, we were actually using Node.js. So Node.js at that time, actually, I was leading the team at. So I myself decided that I'll go with Node.js because we had a server-driven UI also at that
What
time.
you said Node.js and what? Which previous Node.js versus
Golang. So I
Golang?
have, yeah, current organization, the company is using Golang, whereas in the previous organization which I was working, there I was actually leading a team, so that was decision taken by myself, and so I had gone at that time. I had gone with Node.js because even I was not aware of Golang at that time.
Hmm.
But seeing as of now, I feel like both are on the same level, so we can either of the one we can use. I haven't gone with the Python, so I'm not sure. I cannot comment on that.
Cool. Makes sense. So what we can do, it's like again still it's this an open question. So in the next meeting, which I will specifically for backend guys or whoever interested for backend. So there we'll discuss this thing, and I will include some backend developers from Node.js background, Go background, and this fast API Python background. So then we can like discuss on this. It would be a healthy discussion, and then we can finalize what will be the major tech stack for this, and then some module features we can build in other tech as well. So makes sense here. So yep, right. So far, let me quickly update because we need to wrap up by in the next 10 minutes. I have another meeting. I need to move ahead. Yeah, Ankit, you can add quickly. Then we can. Yes.
It's a note about the backend, but I just wanted to add about the reusability. So what I would suggest is create separate repos for different components. For example, for homepage, we can have a separate repo, and for authentication, we can have a separate repo, and then they can have some. Then we can have some common repo where all the network related things and everything can be implemented. So it will be more reusable. Plus, it can be like if multiple teams are working on different modules, so it will be
Mhm.
easier for them to maintain the repo.
Okay. Okay. I will come to this part right now. Today, actually, we are not discussing this topic intentionally, but yeah, it's about more about folder structure, repo management, and all that stuff.
Yes.
So, and it's again more related to architecture as well. So we'll discuss this thing in the coming session. But yeah, thanks for your suggestion. I already planned few things for this, and we'll take suggestions from you guys as well. Then we will conclude on this part how we are going to maintain. But yeah, the major concern I have, like we should have, but we will try our best as much as possible. We'll have a reusable components from UI perspective as well, and from the logic and model and like what you can say, view model wise, or maybe like your wrapper wise, networking wise, core data wise, all that. Like, so you will going to have more and more like reusable code in the entire project. And we will make sure obviously it is even though multiple people are working, so because kind of these things we are doing in our companies, I am working with these kind of people like so right now my current team is of total I think 300 software engineers. So out of 300 around iOS people are like 60. So 60 iOS people are working in multiple teams. So we have feature wise teams. So total around I think 10 to 12 teams are there. So 10 to 12 teams, or no, sorry, I'm saying less. It's around 15 teams. 15 teams are selected like 60 developers, 60 iOS engineers. So every team have like 3 to 4 developers basically. iOS, then Android, then backend and testing and all that stuff. So yeah, so basically we are maintaining these things in my current company. In our previous project also, a lot of big team I work with, and we pretty good managing all this stuff. So you can also share your experiences, and then we come up with this. We used to call this as a core components here and in my current project. So I'm planning ki okay, because this I really found they are really doing a great job on this part. We really have a very good components on from UI perspective, or even core managers like a code reusable code for manager purpose, network managers you can say, or not a network manager I can say, like it depends. Suppose take an example of recently I built one feature related to YouTube integration in the app. So I created one YouTube manager. So in future, anyone in any feature, any other feature you want to include YouTube feature, so you can simply use my manager, which is a common manager for the entire project. And then you can simply pass your playlist link or a video link, whatever you want to load, and then you simply pass it, and then it will eventually load your whole playlist basically. So something like that. So you don't need to again go with the whole setup code and again and again. It's like a core common code. You just simply use it and pass the details, some few parameter, one or two. That's it. Same for the UI components. So it's really I will show you some again. It's not allowed to show you like directly, but in some other way I will explain you and show you in the coming sessions. In from UI perspective, which I'm talking about, I found it's really great thing like part. Yes, Ankit.
Yeah, I agree with that. So my only point was like keeping all that. For example, you gave the example of that YouTube list. So
Yeah.
what my suggestion was, let's keep that in a separate repo, so that
You mean
it
by
is
separate? I'm not getting your point. What do you mean by
by
separate?
separate repo. I mean, we can create it as a separate package,
Separate
separate package.
way,
Yeah,
yeah, because it's confusing with separate repo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
Basically
So
saying separate package as a say separate kind of library you want to then
yeah,
import
yeah.
it
Yeah,
like that.
so for example, if we have some home page and if we
Mhm.
create it as a separate package, and then that package can be imported into the main app
Yeah,
and then it can be
yes,
used.
yes. So
So
that we do for basically we are planning or we do these things for UI components basically, core components, common components, and for other stuff also we can do. So yeah, that again depends, but it's a good approach. There are some pros and cons for this, but yeah, we can go with this approach as well. Not a problem. Yeah, we can go with this. Yes. So yeah, thanks Ankit. Actually, yeah, again I'm running, so need to move to the next meeting. So we'll again discuss more on this on the coming session, coming next meeting. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. I got your point. And yeah, actually this is recommended. So again, so because this kind of if you have maintaining a kind of separate, I can say library pod or package or something like that. So it will be more easier to manage and update the versions like. So yeah, it's pretty good approach. Yeah. I've done this thing in Practo basically. So there we are using this kind of approach. So that you're talking about basically. Cool.
so in my current company also we have like 15 apps, and all are based on the news applications. So
Mhm.
what we are doing is we are creating separate modules or separate packages for everything like video player or you can say for index pages, home pages. So it is more like reusable now. So all the apps are using the same packages. Based on the app, we can render the different data. So that's why.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. So let me quickly answer these chat questions. So Jay are asking ki Yeah, Uzair, actually we already discussed on this part. So wherever there are some challenges with SwiftUI, we are going to use UI kit as well. So that's why I mentioned somewhere around 80% project in SwiftUI, 20% kind of in UI kit, or 10 to 20%.
Yeah, actually, I was answering Nikunj. Sorry, I
Oh, yes,
didn't
sir.
get the name. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So cool. So I think so far done. So these are the major pain points to discuss. And we still have some open questions. We'll again discuss in the next meeting. Mostly not tomorrow. I will plan on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll let you know. In the meantime, whichever we have open questions and whichever we discussed today, do some POC R&D on that part. So again, we'll discuss these things in the next session as well. And in the again parallelly, again we are working on the UIX part. They are taking some time, so I'm waiting for the designs. So far, I don't have designs ready. So yeah, but again, these kind of technical stuff and POC we can start with it. That's not a dependency on the design part. And once we get the designs, we can actually start working on the UI development part. In the meantime, we can have wrapper pala part. We can do some POC on these things. We you can create, like, we can create network wrappers. We can create core data wrappers. All that stuff we can do, or even Swift data wrappers. Like, or I think Swift data wrapper is not required. But yeah, the point is key. We can do these kind of stuff so far. So yeah, makes sense. You can thumbs up once. Makes sense. Yeah. Aman, yes. Tell me. You have any?
Yeah, I was just telling to let's document all the things that we have discussed and place this in the group. So
Yeah,
next we
absolutely.
just
So
need to
actually, someone
speak.
added this README also, and
Yeah,
we have recording as well. So I will brief out this, and we'll have some
yeah, not
meeting of.
for just me.
I'm that.
I also wanted this to let's like we'll be starting the code base and writing code in next like 1 or 2 weeks. We should be documenting all the things that we will be preparing for this, and
Yes, yes,
so that
absolutely. Yeah. Mhm.
like some newcomer joins and he wants to contribute, so
Yeah, that is for sure, Aman. Yeah, we actually going to do this thing, so that is planned. So
we
today
can
is
prepare
like,
the design docs type things, so where everyone can contribute
yep,
on
yep.
the papers which
So
they have written.
basically, we are still setting up the repo and all that thing. So there in the repo, all this technical docs and everything would be there. So anyone can, okay, new people can join and they can quickly onboard and go through these docs and maybe some notes and recording also well, and then they can start with the development part. So yeah, that would be there, the proper documentation and onboarding process, right? So yeah, makes sense. And I found people joined from all over the countries. Kind of, I found, even you can see in the group, we have, I think, more than 15-20 countries people are there. So that's a good thing. So we have a diversity. We have people from different backgrounds. People are from Europe, from South Africa, from Middle East, from US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and India, obviously, and even nearby countries like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So yeah, that's a good thing. We have a lot of crowd from all over the kind of world. We have global audience, so that's also a good thing. So yep, I think we are good to go. And we actually, let me give you some timelines. So as far as the designs are concerned and the backend team and backend development, so actual development will start around in the next 2 weeks. You can say 17th and 24th August. You can say. In the meantime, in these 2 weeks, we'll do some POCs in R&D and some again wrappers part. We can start with it. In the meantime, you get the designs and some basic API part. You will start getting it, and then you can start working on the actual development part. So we need 2 weeks of time, kind of, for that part. Okay, let's have an opening ceremony sometime. Yeah, we'll plan this kind of thing. Yes, Ankit. Okay. Yep. Cool. So even though, let me tell you one more thing, we are planning some workshops, some hackathon contest as well. So we'll let you know, these are in process pipeline. So maybe you will enjoy these things, the contest part and this hackathon part. So yeah, give me some time. I'm working on this part, and we are planning a proper platform for having some great article, blogs, and content for as a community. So that also we are planning. We are also making, like, kind of working on how we can make process smoother for getting referrals. So we are planning in the longer run as a platform, but till the meantime we are planning through WhatsApp, through Slack, or through some data management stuff, how we can come to know key who's looking for a job and are really, relevant and genuine candidate, or maybe most deserving candidate, like so that we are working on it right now. So you will get eventually one form for the community purpose, and in detail form it is there. So please spend your 3 to 5 minutes to spend and properly fill this thing. So it will definitely help us to make this process smoother and cleaner, for getting you referrals, for getting you some freelancing opportunity if you are interested, and some other cool stuff like. So yeah, cool, makes sense. Yeah. So thank you everyone, and even thanks for you showed the interest for volunteering as well. We have a separate group for volunteering. If anyone interested, you can join that group, and we have a separate group for backend as well. So if you are interested in backend development, you can join that group. I've shared both the links in the group, and you can also find in the description as well. Cool. So thank you everyone for joining over the weekend, and happy weekend. See you in the next session. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.